Hi my lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Amy and I'm a cruelty-free makeup enthusiast and blogger. So I actually have a series that I kind of make videos every now and then called The Coffee Corner, where we can enjoy a cup of joe together and just talk about whatever we want to talk about. Normally it's about I talk about things mostly in the makeup or beauty community and put them into somewhat of a nerdy scope. So sometimes I look at things through the lens of concepts that we have in history or in pop culture and things like that. So I was kind of hesitant to make this video. As you can see, I've drank most of my coffee, so this will turn into water eventually. I'm going to be drinking water, but I was hesitant to film this video just because I was like, oh, do I really want to talk about something like this? Like, I'm sure people just want to talk about cruelty-free makeup, which is what I want to talk about. But something happened that kind of affects I feel like the cruelty-free community, but not even that, the whole beauty community as a whole, because some statements were made at like, I don't know, 12:30 this morning from Dawson, and I felt like I just wanted to say something about it. Like, I wanted to share just kind of my opinion and how I feel incredibly disappointed and saddened. I also feel like I have to speak up because I just think that a lot of us have been, I don't want to use the word manipulated, but maybe led to believe some things or that aren't really necessarily true, and that we should definitely question the validity of things. Liam McAvoy is a YouTuber that I recently discovered. He's brilliant. I could listen to him read a phone book. He actually has an anthropology background, or I think he might be working towards an anthropology degree, and he talked about modes of persuasion. So there's the traditional Greek modes of persuasion, that's pathos, logos, and ethos, and that you tend to learn a lot in like English classes. I remember I first learned about that when I was in, I think, poetry class in high school, and they're basically just different ways to persuade someone using a different variety of things. So I have my notes here that I could reference. Ethos is the ethical appeal, so that means to convince an audience of the author's credibility or character. Pathos is the emotional appeal, means to persuade an audience by appealing to their emotions. And then there's logos, which is the appeal by logic, and that means to convince an audience by use of logic or reason. So when we tend to see videos that are more logic based or thought out, or people have screenshots of things and they're well spoken and they're not overly emotional, people tend to have a lot more of a positive response to things like that. But I think you should check out his video because I think he makes a really good case for what he talks about and why certain people are able to get away with certain things and other people aren't able to get away with other things. They're not held to the same standard, especially here on YouTube. So as a most recent example of pathos, we had a Twitter rant that was posted last night by Dawson. So I'm going to read certain excerpts from here. So, of some of the things he said: "Welcome to the circus, my final thoughts on the beauty world." So he is quitting the beauty YouTube world without ever actually making any beauty videos, which is quite disappointing because I think it would have been really fun to watch him do that. So he said, "Did I know he's talking about Tarte Westbrook, was thinking about making a video? Yes. Did I tell her to make a video? No. Did I have any involvement in the video? No. Did I orchestrate it? No. Did I need that kind of drama to make a good series? No." I do want to point out that I think that the series involving the making of the conspiracy palette, oh, not Siri. Oh my gosh, Siri turned on thinking I was talking to her because I said the word series. So anyway, I think that the commercial for that was very much based in drama and things that had happened, and then the series didn't really address any of that. So I do think that actually was a bit of intrigue to gain an audience, or maybe people who weren't really as interested in the makeup stuff definitely came to watch for that. He goes on to say, "The beauty gurus who are always involved in scandals are all the," expletive, he curses, "same. They are all attention-seeking, game-playing, egocentric, narcissistic, vengeful, two-faced ticking time bombs ready to explode, and I'm over it. So I think he does say it's the beauty gurus who are always involved in scandals, but I think he's lumping in a huge community of just the beauty community in general. The beauty community is made up of really lovely people, and I have to say that the majority of people I follow, especially now, when I look at people like Sam Ravindal or Bailey Syrian, who I really love, Raw Beauty Christy, I like Coffee Break with Danny, of course my friend Lauren, who I absolutely love to watch, Emily Noel is someone who I really enjoy, Teresa is Dead, I love her, there's also 90s Love Child, she's fantastic, Angelica Nyquist is someone who I enjoy, and all those people, they're not involved in any of this kind of stuff. I would never use these kind of words to describe them. So I just found that that was really interesting, though, that he's kind of looking at the beauty community from the scope of just these several large people that had he not even, maybe not even associated with in the first place, if he went and worked with other people, he probably wouldn't have had this negative experience. There are several things that I also found as disturbing when he talks about James Charles. So he says, do I think James is the devil? No. Do I think he was a young, egocentric, power-hungry guru who needed to be served a slice of humble pie the size of the expletive, he curses again, Empire State Building? Yes. So what bothers me kind of about that too is that, you know, there's that really old, like, biblical saying, he who is without sin cast the first stone, and I don't understand why Shane feels the need to be, like, judge, jury, and executioner. Like, did he need to be served a slice of humble pie the size of the Empire State Building? You know, there are several things that I continue to have found kind of disturbing as time has gone on, but I want to continue on when he talks about Tarte. Do I think Tarte is a villain? No. I think Tarte was sick of being treated like, he curses again, by so many in the beauty world and finally snapped. And damn, did she effing snap all the way. Holy, he curses again. She really said, he curses again, and beat her face for the gods and popped on that ring light and went full Game of Thrones on that. He curses again. Say what you want about her or that video, but that blank curse again is will be in the history books. YouTube Rewind even gave it acknowledgement. So I feel like if all these people were so close as they claim to be, they claim to be family, they really cared about one another. You know, even Jeffree Star called James Charles his little brother in the Shane Dawson series. If he really had such a really good, strong emotional bank account, and the emotional bank account concept goes back to Dr. Stephen Covey, who was like a self-help doctor, and he wrote all these books. You know, The 7 Habits is one of them that I could think of. And that concept is basically that you have a really good, strong relationship with someone, that you've built a good relationship, you keep depositing into your emotional bank accounts with one another. So then if something terrible happens or something bad happens, say an argument or a disagreement, you have enough deposit in that emotional bank account that you know that you could still come back and talk to one another, that you don't take it as personally. So part of me is kind of concerned that no one really talked to one another. If they were really concerned that a crime had been committed or that they were hearing things about their really good friend that they considered their brother or family, why wouldn't you just talk to that person? Why wouldn't you just call them up and be like, hey, I'm hearing some things about you being said, like, can we talk about this? What's going on? And none of that ever happened. It was just like cut and dry. These people cut him out of their lives. And I'm not a James Charles fan by any means, but what did he really do wrong? I mean, the allegation that Tarte didn't make, but it was really made by Jeffree Star, was that he was a danger to society. That's what he posted on his Twitter. That is a huge accusation, one that can just damage someone's life, and it almost did. And James Charles talks about almost taking his life over it. this is not something very small, and that's why I felt the need to talk about it, because I feel like people kind of, when Tarte first made her video, everything seemed so convincing and oh my god, something really must be wrong. And then when Jeffree was like, he's a danger to society, all this stuff, everyone was going, oh my god, something terrible must have happened, like he has victims, what is going on? And what we know now as time has passed, like there's no proof, still no evidence about anything. All of this seems to be very emotional based still from everybody, and from what several people have said is that Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson knew about Tate's video before it came out. I feel like from the Keemstar interview, there's an interview or podcast that you can watch on Spotify from Keemstar, and it's called Mom's Basement, and he had Jeffree Star on about a month or two ago, maybe, oh yeah, I think it was in April. And it was very fascinating because Jeffree had said, well, I had received a piece of information, and it was like a voice note on his phone. So if it was just a voice note, is that all he has? Is there actually no proof? And I feel like he may have fed it to Tate or to Shane Dawson, something going on where then, and then, you know, it just kind of snowballed into this thing. And during that interview with Keemstar, he kind of threw Tate under the bus and said, well, she should have never have made that video. But after that video came out, he was praising her. He said everything she said was correct. He was congratulating her on all her success. There's something that doesn't really add up, and everything seems very calculated. So I really think it's unfair of Shane Dawson to call the beauty community full of narcissistic people who are egocentric and vengeful. Maybe that's probably about under 10 people, but there's hundreds if not thousands of people in the beauty community. It makes me really question where his heart is, and I think it's very unfortunate because honestly, if he really wanted to talk about the beauty community, he could have worked with someone else or another brand, and I think it would have been great. And then if he really loves makeup as much as he says he does, I think it would have been so much fun to watch him and other people have videos together and play with makeup and maybe teach him new techniques, or he teach other people things. And that's why it makes me feel like we've all been played. And I know that's really dramatic to say, but I feel like a lot of us were convinced. I don't know, I feel like he played to a lot of people's emotions through his lens of storytelling, and everyone got really invested in Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, and it made everyone want to buy certain products. And now part of me just feels like this whole thing was just one giant ad campaign. And you know, I'm not going to tell people what products they should use, who to support, who not to support, but I really don't think, in my heart of hearts, like, I decluttered the Conspiracy palette out of my collection. It's gone, and I know probably soon I'll be getting rid of the rest of my Jeffree Star makeup, which makes me very sad because Jeffree Star Cosmetics is a very big, cruelty-free, and completely vegan company, but if the person behind the brand is that horrible and that unethical and has a history of continuing to do things, and I know people should be forgiven for things, but honestly, you know, you could apologize and say something happened 10 years ago, and that's what it is. But when you continue to see all this behavior and all this backstabbing and anger and just things like storylines that don't add up, I feel like something's very wrong here, and I can't really put my finger on it, but I don't know how you guys feel. I just feel like I cannot just separate the brand from the person anymore, and I don't feel comfortable kind of showing his cosmetics on my channel anymore. It is a great shame because his eyeshadow palette formula was in my top 5 formulas, like fantastic, creativity top notch, but it's just not worth it. There is a former friend of Jeffree Star who put a video up Sanders Kennedy has reposted this video because I think the person took the video down. But basically he had said that he had been hanging out with Jeffree last year in Las Vegas, and I think they were in Hermes, and Jeffree was complaining that, I don't know, it was like the governor of Nevada or something had banned exotic furs and skins from the state. So Hermes, who does offer exotic skins and furs, usually sells those products, but I think they're banned from either the states or just Nevada in general, and Jeffree was complaining about that. And you know, that one thing totally rubbed me the wrong way. I know you can't expect everyone to be completely ethical with things, but, and you know, he doesn't probably live a very ethical lifestyle, but that was deeply upsetting to me. But then on top of that, what he said is, oh, this governor bans the sales of exotic skins and furs, but he's the same governor who allows, I think he said something very derogatory about illegal immigrants or just immigrants being able to get their green card and come into Nevada. So, and that was recent. That was recent, and apparently there was something recently he said about Jackie Aina where he called her a derogatory word, and it just, I'm done. I just feel like, you know, it's a real shame, because people who have so many followers in this platform have the ability to do so much good, whether that be Jeffree Star or Shane Dawson and all these other people who are involved in this stuff. But I just feel very disappointed that when people think about the beauty community, they're thinking about these people, because there's just so many other wonderful people out there to support. So, you know, again, I don't really know what I'm fully trying to say in this video, but I just felt like I had to say it. I just felt like I can't really run a cruelty-free YouTube and blog but support people who cause a lot of pain to other human beings. That is it for me. I have rambled on long enough. If you liked this content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And until next time, remember to stay compassionate and chic. Bye.